Get out of the city and into an adventure that moves the whole family. Prepare to be moved. The all-new Nissan X-Trail.
A LISTNR production.
A man dead in a house fire and tragedy on Limestone Coast roads. A rainy one across the region today. Good morning, I'm Katie Martin and this is your Limestone Coast local news. A man has died in a house fire in Mount Gambier over the weekend. He's yet to be identified, while a second occupant of the house has managed to escape. Investigators have labelled the fire not suspicious, sparking just before 6 o'clock yesterday morning. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Meanwhile, South Australia's road toll has climbed to 63 people after a man died in a crash in Carpenter Rocks. The 52-year-old local was driving on Thursday when police believe the car left the road and crashed into scrub at the intersection of Pelican Point and Carpenter Rocks roads. This time last year, the state's road toll was at 40 people. Staying on the roads, and it's now school holidays across the Limestone Coast, so expect to see more young people around playgrounds, parks and shopping centres. Police say it's a good idea to slow down, particularly now around these areas. Limestone Coast Police Inspector Carmen Conway says a common sense approach is all that's needed.
It's just about being aware about the surroundings, and if you're approaching a playground and you can see that there are kids in the playgrounds, you need to just be mindful that, there might be that random soccer ball that gets kicked out onto the roadway, or kids that are on their scooters riding toward the playground.
As for those young people coming into 2 weeks of free time, the RAA says it's a great time to practice being behind the wheel. The organisation's Charles Mountain says this is because driving on busy and possibly wet roads is important to nail.
So that could include things such as driving through the Adelaide Hills, driving on some regional and country roads as well at higher speeds.
And if you've got littler ones or are just looking for something to do, head to the Narracord Caves for free. Narracord Lucendale Council's axed the entry fee for the holidays for locals bringing visiting family or friends. Your visiting family will still have to pay though. Limestone Coast teachers are eligible for as much as $2,000 to $3,500 in a state government plan to tackle the teacher crisis. The government's made the country teaching allowance ongoing when the payments used to be for just 5 years. Education Minister Blair Boyer says after that time, country areas were having issues with staff retention. And still 3 years until the next state election, but Liberal turned independent MP Nick McBride has stated his intention to run again for MacKillop come 2026. Mount Gambier MP Troy Bell also has a history of moving from the Lips to the crossbench and backs McBride to hold on to his seat despite leaving a major party.
If you have a clear plan and articulate it well to the government of the day, I tried very hard to work with the previous government, just like I'm trying very hard to work with the current government. No matter what political persuasion, it's really about making sure that your community is recognised.
After this, there is no turning back. You sip the red can, the story ends. You sip the black can, you enter dreamland. And I show you just how good the truth can taste. Take the Pepsi Max Taste Challenge.
The Mount Gambier Pioneers men have turned a Friday night loss into a thrilling Saturday morning win in round 13 of the NBL 1. It was the Hobart Chargers who handed the Pioneers the loss by 15 points. But it seems that gave the Pioneers the push they needed for the 1-point win against Tassie Thunder.